What is going on, trainers? Drumvillain here, bringing you some more Pokemon Go PvP content, and today we're looking at an open Ultra League team. Now, I've spent this week or so absolutely tanking my score, getting smashed to pieces, trying to find a team that does not require any XL Pokemon or any Legendaries, and I've lost about 300 ELO trying to find a team that works. And as we've said, the Ultra League remix is really an XL dominated cup. It's very difficult to compete without XL Pokemon at all, and the Ultra League in general, the Open Ultra League, was already reaching that point of being heavily saturated with XL Pokemon, as well as being dominated by Legendaries such as Giratina, Cresselia and Registeel. So we've had a play around, and this is the team that we've landed on as having a decent amount of success and being relatively cheap to build compared to a lot of Pokemon and a lot of teams that you'll see in Ultra League. Now, there are 3 legacy moves on this team, that's the caveat. Gyarados has its Community Day move of Aqua Tail, and Charizard has both Community Day moves, Dragon Breath and Blast Burn. If you're running Charizard, in Ultra League, you want Dragon Breath, just so it can threaten Giratinas. It does also give some decent coverage against Talonflame, which is quite common in the Ultra League and is a very strong pick. It does mean that if you come up against a Charmer, you're just going to have to go for Blast Burn and do as much damage as you can with that. But honestly, we haven't really run into many Charmers in either Ultra Remix or in Ultra League in general. I think they're just out of fashion at the minute in Ultra League. They're getting outclassed by Galarian Stunfisk, by Talonflame, a lot of these Pokemon that really put a lot of pressure on Charmers. So, quick overview of the moveset. Gyarados has Dragon Breath, Aqua Tail and Crunch. Alolan Muk, we're running Snarl, Dark Pulse and Sludge Wave. And Charizard, Dragon Breath, Blast Burn and Dragon Claw. We've opted for Snarl and Sludge Wave on Alolan Muk because Sludge Wave will one-shot just about any Charmer in Ultra League anyway, so you don't need that Gunk Shot. Nuke and Snarl lets you get to those moves so much faster and helps Alolan Muk perform much stronger as a safe swap. Don't get me wrong, Poison Jab on Alolan Muk is good since it got the buff, but as a safe swap you want Snarl, because more likely than not you're going to have people swapping in Swamperts and other things like that to meet your Alolan Muk, and Snarl just gives you a much better fighting chance at regaining swap or getting shield advantage against those counter swaps. And don't forget to subscribe, guys, for my Fallen ELO, the sacrifices we make to create videos for you guys. 1 subscribe equals 1 support for my Fallen ELO. And let's look at some battles, right? These battles, these are 3 sets, all back to back. These battles were as they happened, in the order that they happened. And the first lead we got with this team was an Obstagoon. And I don't mind running into Obstagoon on the lead with this team. Gyarados can go toe-to-toe with it, with the Aqua Tail spam. You get, I think, just slightly outpaced to the, I think it gets to the Night Slashers like 1 turn, like 1 Dragon Breath ahead of you. Yeah. But it means that you keep the Obstagoon away from Alolan Muk. Alolan Muk doesn't like to see it really, because you have to go for the Poison Nuke charge move really to do any substantial damage. So I'm happy to stay in with Gyarados. We get a shield, which is really nice in this matchup. I don't think the Obstagoon has to shield, and we had overcharged a lot to possibly make them think they could farm down, so we get both shields, and that's absolutely huge, because Charizard and Muk are hugely threatening with shield advantage, especially 2 shields. Like Alolan Muk can beat Swampert easily with a 2 shield advantage, and there aren't many things that can really stop an Alolan Muk if you've got a 2 shield advantage. They swap in a Cresselia, and we're going to build up lots of energy here. We're going to kind of bank it all on Charizard towards the end of the game, I think. I think we're going to take this Moonblast, yeah. We're going to build up extra energy so we can land a Dark Pulse onto the Obstagoon to finish it off quickly. If it does come in, we get a little greedy for that energy, so they're going to get to another Moonblast. We're going to let it go though. We're going to assume that Charizard with 1 shield can sweep whatever Pokemon they've got in the back. And even if it is, God forbid, a Swampert, we will have good play against it with 1 shield with Charizard. You'd be amazed at the work either of these can put in with a shield advantage, but it's a Talonflame in the back, so the opponent here has to land a Brave Bird, and we've got so much energy already. We've got shield advantage. We can shield this up comfortably, and get to a Blast Burn and probably a Dragon Claw as well before they get to another, because if they throw after this turn, after the second Incinerate, it had to have been a Flame Charge. After they throw a Flame Charge, you have to throw another 3 Incinerates to get to Brave Bird. So we knew we were comfortable in that win, and it's a GG. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the next matchup, and we've played a lot of Legend Rank trainers, which is surprising at 2700 ELO. And we pull a Giratina lead, and the good thing about this team is that everything handles Giratina. Gyarados and Charizard do very well with the Dragon Breath damage and the Dragon Claws from Charizard, and Alolan Muk is super threatening with the Dark Pulse. So of all the Pokemon you have to worry about running into, Giratina is not one of them. Really probably a better play for this team if you run into a Giratina lead is probably to swap into Alolan Muk earlier, because as we can see they have a Swampert and we need Gyarados to take care of that Swampert. And since everything counters Giratina, losing swap advantage doesn't matter how that plays out. I would say if the opponent doesn't swap out of that lead matchup against Gyarados, you should swap to Alolan Muk earlier than I did in this match, because you need to know if they've got a Swampert, you need to get it out, and you need Gyarados to handle it before it gets anywhere near Charizard. Because hopefully if you get a Swampert out of the way, whatever they've got in back will not be able to handle Charizard. Now, we might let this go. The Swampert's super low, so with Dragon Breath on Charizard, we can just farm this Swampert down at this point. We don't think they've got that much energy left, no. So now, this Charizard is primed with a shield advantage, and it's an Abomasnow in back. So now we're just a little bit worried about them catching. If they catch the Blast Burn on Giratina, it's bad news for us. So we're going to overcharge a little bit, and then it seemed like they were just going for it, so we figure let's just throw the Blast Burn, one-shot this Abomasnow, get it out of here. We've got more health than we need, really, to deal with this Giratina. This Dragon Claw is going to get it super low, unless they've got Ancient Power, which I don't think they... No sane person is running Ancient Power on Giratina in Ultra League at this point, since it's Mega Nerf, and we're just able to farm down. It's a GG. Now, the main thing with this team is that you absolutely have to bait out a Swampert. If they've got one in back, and your Gyarados is gone, they've got shields to commit into it, you're going to have a bad time. Now, this match we get a Defense Deoxys lead. We knew there were going to be Defense Deoxyses roaming around since they were recently in raids, so people can build XL variants. And I think this is a decent matchup. I think we're going to shield the first charge move just because they've built up enough energy for a potential Thunderbolt. But if it's Rock Slide, we can take a Rock Slide, so if they throw again, we're just going to let it go through. We're not too stressed about that. They'd struggle to counter us down after landing a Rock Slide still. But what they do here is they swap in a Galvantula and we lose all that energy. So they were really clever on that and we were really slow on reacting. We bring in Charizard, we don't know why we brought in Charizard. We were a little bit frazzled, but that's a GG. We can't win that match. We should have brought in Muk, and we pretty much gave them the win there. It was a good snipe down by the opponent though. Now this is the dream lead, Swampert. Gyarados absolutely walls Swampert, so naturally they're going to swap out. They swap into a Snorlax, and we bring in Alolan Muk. Now Alolan Muk obviously struggles against Swampert, so we need to preserve the Gyarados. And the good thing here is that the main threat from Snorlax, especially Shadow Snorlax, is the lick damage over time, and Muk double resists that. But here we let an Earthquake through, bang! We get smashed to a million pieces, eating a Shadow Earthquake, and that was a huge mistake. If they build up that much energy, it's worth shielding, because there's a lot of Snorlaxes in Open Ultra run Earthquake just so they have a charge move that can damage Giratina, or other Pokemon that would otherwise resist Body Slam and Superpower, especially if they're running it as a safe swap. So we lose switch advantage, we're down a shield at this point, they've got Swampert locked on our Charizard, and we can only presume they've got another Gyarados counter in the back. So this is really not looking good. We decide to try and catch a Hydro Cannon on Gyarados, and we do pull it off. So maybe there's hope here, we're not sure. They stop it a little bit with Swampert, then they bring in a Registeel. So this is kind of scary, but also Gyarados and Charizard both deal well with Registeel. We've got a lot of energy built up here as well, so there's potential to bring this back. We just got to see what we can do here. Now we resist both Focus Blast and Flash Cannon, so we're going to let this go through. Flash Cannon doesn't quite take us out, and they're going to struggle to farm us down with Lock On because we've got so much health. We decide to swap in Charizard, and I don't know if we're going to shield this. Yeah, we decided to shield it. We've got a fair amount of energy on this Charizard. We're going to build up quite a bit of energy. We've got 2 Dragon Claws here, so we can throw 2 Dragon Claws at this Swampert, and they're kind of forced to throw here, or no, they don't throw in time, so we're going to throw this Dragon Claw, and it might not quite take them out, but it'll get them super low, and now they have to throw, or they will get farmed down first. And now we can come in with Gyarados, farm down, and we've still got a crazy amount of energy to throw at this Registeel. Yeah, we've got 2 Aqua Tails, and this is going to be enough to take out the Registeel, and we're going to take the win. So that's going to be a GG. So despite eating an Earthquake sandwich for breakfast and getting smashed to 1,000 pieces with Alolan Muk against that Snorlax, we're still able to bring the match back around because Gyarados and Charizard are very strong in the right situations. Now, this is the nightmare lead. Galvantula. What the hell do you do with a Galvantula lead? Well, we swap into Muk. We can't, if we swap into Charizard, it lets on that we are really weak to them. So they'll just commit shields into Galvantula and probably sweep the game. So what we're better off doing is swap into Muk. We pull out this Swampert, and we want to get a shield out of them. Galvantula is most vulnerable when the opponent doesn't have shields. So we're going to drag shields out of him in this matchup. We shield an Earthquake on Muk, which is really nice. And I think we're going to let this go. We're going to call this as a Hydro Cannon. And it is. So now if they want swap advantage and they don't know that both our Pokemon are weak to Galvantula. So this will probably get the second shield. It does. Now we're looking kind of good, yeah. So they throw their energy here. We're going to farm down this Swampert. And hopefully we can just land a hard-hitting move on that Galvantula to get rid of it. We're going to bring in Charizard. We didn't realise they had another Hydro Cannon, so we're going to have to shield this because it's going to do massive damage otherwise. We're going to farm down and hopefully be able to get to a Blast Burn against this Galvantula. It's the only hope we've got of winning this game because it's double super effective against Gyarados and it's super effective against Charizard, and neither are particularly hard-wearing Pokemon to be taking those Volt Switches and Discharges. So the opponent brings in Umbreon. They realise that we've got that much energy that we're going to absolutely annihilate that Galvantula if it comes in against this Charizard. And we're building up so much energy. We want to throw a Blast Burn, I think. No, we stayed 100 energy and we decided to catch a Foul Play. I think what we're hoping to do here is to just double Blast Burn both Pokemon here. We'll win. I believe I make a mistake here, and my mistake was that I assumed Charizard wins CMP against Galvantula. Apparently it doesn't. I thought it did. We figure we'll throw the Dragon Claw here and then throw a Blast Burn on Umbreon and the game's ours because we've got that much energy. But no, Galvantula wins CMP, hits us with the Discharge, 100,000 energy goes to waste, and we lose the game. So the other play really should have just been to throw the Blast Burn against Umbreon, and then hopefully it knocked it out and we could throw the second Blast Burn at Galvantula straight away. But live and learn, we now know Charizard loses CMP to Galvantula. So we're going to jump into the second set, and again, the Dream lead Swampert. They swap in a Gengar, which threw me out a little bit, but then I thought, obviously, yeah, we've got Alolan Muk that's going to be double resisting the Shadow Claws, the Shadow Balls, the Shadow Punches. The only thing we have to really worry about from Gengar is Focus Blast. And we're not sure if we're expecting it to have Focus Blast. We decided to let the move through. It's just a Shadow Punch. But we figure they've shielded. So maybe they have Focus Blast, right? Like, why would they shield twice if they don't have Focus Blast? So at this point, we're going to shield. They've given up 2 shields. We're going to shield once. It is the Focus Blast. So this opponent gives up 2 shields and switch advantage because they swap back into Swampert. So we're just going to bring in Gyarados, wall this thing off, and chip it down. And we're just going to assume and hope, since they led Swampert, there's a good chance that whatever's in back is weak to a fire, like Charizard. So maybe it's a Charmer, maybe it's a Cresselia, maybe it's a Giratina. So we should be fine. We're looking good in this match so far. Our Muk still has a lot of energy as well to dump into whatever they bring in. I don't think their Gengar can farm us down. It was very, very low. It's a Venusaur in back, so yeah, weak to fire. This game's over. I don't think we even need to use Charizard. We could probably bring in Alolan Muk and just dump the energy we've got there into it. We figured to bring in Charizard, just kind of say, look, we've got this. If you want to like surrender, you know, that's fine. No disrespect or anything, but they're not in a optimal position here. We figured this is a Shadow Punch, we're just going to let it go. The main thing we're worried about was a Sludge Bomb from the Venusaur, but we're just going to get to this Blast Burn. The opponent surrenders. It's a GG. And that was an absolute hard counter win, which sometimes you're going to get hard counter wins, you know, you just absolutely have the right answer for everything that the opponent has. And jumping into the next match, we've got another Swampert. I swear these matches are all back to back from the same 3 sets. These matches were how it played out, but we did get 2 Swampert leads in a row, which is really, really nice for this team. They're swapping an Empoleon, and we're not 100% sure what to do with that. We could have... But we can't stay in with Gyarados because we need Gyarados for Swampert. But that means we also need switch advantage. And the thing about Empoleon is against our team, Empoleon can force switch advantage. We're a little slow on the swap. We should have been faster on bringing in Alolan Muk, because if you swap in fast enough, you get to Dark Pulses faster than Empoleon gets to Hydro Cannons. So we could have forced the second shield there out of this opponent. But here we're going to have to take a Drill Peck. We're not too stressed about that. We're just going to keep on chipping away. And if they're going to get to another... Yeah, we figured they were going to get to one more Drill Peck, so we'll throw the Aqua Tail last second. So if they want to throw that Drill Peck, they got a shield. They let it go. We've still got a fair amount of energy, and they've got Melmetal in the back. And this is bad news. Really, our only answer on this team to Melmetal is Alolan Muk. Because we're running Dragon Breath on Charizard, it means we can't just chip away at Melmetal easily, and the Rock Slide would one-shot Charizard. It does a lot of damage to Gyarados, so we just surrender there. We know that game's the loss. GG to my opponent though. I don't often like quitting out of matches in GBL, but when you're in Ultra League and the matches drag on so long anyway, you're just saving you and your opponent some time when you know you're going to lose in a match like that. So, Dragonite lead, an unusual one for sure, but I guess it's a very good lead because Gyarados does well against Dragonite when you're running Dragon Breath. They're swapping an Escavalier, and we've got Charizard to bring in and absolutely wall this thing. We're going to just take the Acid Spray. It wouldn't matter what charge move it is. We can definitely take one. I figure if this is a non-Acid Spray, it would do big damage, but we assumed it'd be an Acid Spray, so we let it go through. And at this point now, because we've got 4 defense debuffs, we're going to take a lot of damage. But thankfully, Escavalier lets that go through. We take switch advantage. The Dragonite's going to come in, but we can just make it to a Dragon Claw. And because Dragonite's so squishy in any league other than Master League, it's going to do big damage. Bang, look at that. Almost annihilating both Escavalier and Dragonite. And I think we're just going to commit both shields to Muk. The opponent still has... No, we're going to shield this up. Okay. The opponent still has 2 shields here, and they've got an Excadrill in the back. And this is kind of scary. We maybe should have tried to catch a Rock Slide on Alolan Muk rather than swapping straight away. I figure we can survive one Drill Run. It shouldn't one-shot, right? It's not as strong as Earthquake now. Oh, that gets us low though. That's not ideal because we can get farmed down now. But we can get to this Dark Pulse. This will do big damage. Yeah, it gets the Excadrill pretty low. So maybe the play now is to... No, we figure we'll throw the Aqua Tail because the Dragonite's so low anyway. We don't need any charge moves for that. And we can probably survive one Rock Slide. Right? So we can probably let this go. Yeah, we're going to let this go through. Oh, I mean, we can't get farmed down. So now we're going to shield this up. And I assume we can just farm down this Excadrill and Dragonite. It's going to be close, depending on the Dragonite and lag. No, the opponent surrenders. But it was our match there. The Dragonite had like 1 health left, so GG. Excadrill's a good pick for sure. It's just unfortunate that its Draw Run and Rock Slide can't one-shot Gyarados or Alolan Muk, respectively. But that farm down from Muk was pretty scary, actually, for us. Now, Giratina lead here. And as we've said, if Giratina doesn't swap out, you should. But the opponent does swap out and catches the Crunch, which is a good play by them to catch the Crunch. But also, we've got Alolan Muk to bring onto this thing. We're not feeling as threatened by an Earthquake. Maybe we've learned our lesson. We'll see how much energy they build up. We'll throw this Dark Pulse. We're pretty close to another one. Maybe they throw it just before we get there. And yeah, we figure it's worth a shield because if that would have been an Earthquake and it might have one-shotted us and then we'd have been in a bad They might have been in a bad position, depends what they've got him back. But we figure we're going to build up a lot of energy because, well, we shouldn't have thrown that last Snarl because they're going to get another Body Slam off. Snorlax is really spammy once it gets going. We've got 2 Dark Pulses here, so we can throw both of these and probably take Switch, yeah. Now we can just probably throw a Dark Pulse at whatever comes in. It's Giratina comes back in, so we're going to throw a Dark Pulse. This is going to do big damage if it goes unshielded. And we might as well bring Gyarados back into this thing, just because if they swapped out, it implies they have another counter to Gyarados in the back. So we might as well bring in Gyarados. No, we choose to bring in Charizard. Okay, me from these sets was on a different wavelength apparently. So we're going to throw the Dragon Claw straight away, and this will knock out the Giratina if they don't shield. I think there was a visual glitch there, I'm pretty sure they're shielded, which means there's a big chance they're very weak to Charizard in the back. So now we're going to go for a farm down, I think. We're going to shield this up and assume that we can just one-shot with Blast Burn whatever's in the back. And it's a Melmetal. And this is scary. Can we make it to Blast Burn? Look at that. That's 1 Dragon Breath worth of difference. And with Charizard gone, we can't beat that Melmetal if we can't Blast Burn it. So that's a GG to the opponent there. I'm not gonna lie, I was upset when that Melmetal made it to that Rock Slide. I was a little bit salty. We jumped straight on into the next match and we pulled an Obstagoon. And like we said, we like the Obstagoon lead because Obstagoons tend to be there to deal with things like Alolan Muk or with Steel types. And a lot of teams that lead Obstagoon are often weak to Alolan Muk and Charizard in the back, in my experience, because you don't often see Swampert in the back in a team that leads Obstagoon. So we like to stay in and just do the damage that we can, build up some excess energy, see if we can make them shield and go for a farm down, but they don't shield and they can just throw this move and get us out of here. And we might farm down with Muk. Energy on Muk is really threatening, yep. So we get a Snarl off, which is really nice. And we're going to see what they bring in here, and they pause a little bit. Now they bring in a Charizard, a Fire Spin Charizard. And this is kind of scary. This could be a Blast Burn. They've thrown 5 Fire Spins, so I think we're going to shield this up. Yep, and they do go straight for the Blast Burn, so that's a very good shield. And now we should be able to either knock out this Charizard with 2 Dark Pulses or get that shield back before they get to another Blast Burn. If they'd have thrown, then we would have known it was a Dragon Claw, so there was no stress there. Now, I think if they throw here, we're going to let this go. It's either a Dragon Claw and we can throw another Dark Pulse, or it's a Blast Burn and we can just farm down with our Charizard and see what they've got in the back. So a very nice farm down there. They were just about to get to a Dragon Claw, and they've got Cresselia in the back. Now, the big concern with Cresselia, if a Cresselia is in the back, there's always a chance they're running Future Sight rather than Grass Knot, which means they can do a lot better against Charizard. So we're going to let this first one go. It's a Moonblast. They might be fishing for the debuff if they are running Future Sight. But either way, I think another Moonblast will be quite threatening to us at this point. So we're going to throw the Dragon Claw, and we can get to another Dragon Claw easily. We can just shield this up. We might be able to make it to a Blast Burn just to be safe. Cresselia is super tanky. Yeah, we're going to go for the Blast Burn. Unnecessary, because with the extra Dragon Breath, it was definitely in Dragon Claw range. This wasn't a flex. It's one of those where you're in the moment and you're stressing about which move you have to throw to do enough damage. But we're going to take that win there, and it's a GG. So we're able to take another 3-2 set, and I feel like if you're getting 3-2s with a team, it means it's a pretty solid team. Don't get me wrong, this isn't the strongest team in Ultra League, but I think for a cheap team as far as Stardust and Candy goes, you can't really go wrong with this compared to spending a lot of resources on XLs or Legendaries or both. And I know you guys are looking to save Dust and Candy anywhere you can when building teams. So, Stunfisk lead. Now, it's not really a great lead, Stunfisk. It's problematic wherever you see it with this team. Like the Rock Slide, 2 Rock Slides will knock out Gyarados just. Unfortunately, even my Gyarados is a very highly ranked PvP spread Gyarados, so it's about as tanky as a Gyarados gets in Ultra League, and 2 Rock Slides will still knock it out. It'll almost one-shot Charizard, and you're not going to be able to get to the Blast Burns anywhere near at the speed it's going to get to the Rock Slides. So you want to stay in with Gyarados, chip away. We're going to give up a shield just to make sure we can get this thing pretty low, because if it has more health, it's going to be able to put some work in on Alolan Muk as well. So now we're going to come with Charizard and hopefully farm it down. And if I remember this match, I think we misjudged this yet. So they get to a Rock Slide as well. We tried to catch, but it didn't let us swap to Muk. So now we're giving up both shields, and we don't have Switch. So what's in back? They bring in a Clefable, and I'm thinking if they bring in Clefable, maybe there's a chance. Maybe they're double weak to Charizard in the back, and something that's weak to Charizard is probably also weak to Alolan Muk. So we're going to throw a double Blast Burn. We're not here to bait, because the Dragon Claw still would have knocked out Clefable at that range, and they've got a Venusaur in the back. They've got two shields. They're going to have to shield something at this point. So we just throw the Dragon Claw. We do get a shield. It's a Shadow Venusaur, and we managed to catch, and we're hoping we've caught a Sludge Bomb, because Frenzy Plant is just way more energy efficient for a Venusaur to throw against Muk. So we're happy to catch a Sludge Bomb, and now we're just going to go for Dark Pulses. These are going to probably get, we're going to get the shield, and then I think a Dark Pulse, if we get to this next one, will knock out Venusaur, but we do still have some energy on Charizard. This is going to be super close. The Venusaur has two Frenzy Plants, so they're going to take us out. Can we get to a Dragon Claw on Charizard, and is it going to knock out this Venusaur? This is going to be close. 5, 6. The Venusaur is now at a Frenzy Plant, possibly at a Sludge Bomb. We win CMP, we knock it out, we take the win, GG. So a super clutch win there, bringing that back from being down 2 shields and losing Switch. But never give up on a match if it's looking bad. You never know what games you can flip around. So jumping into match 2 of our third set, and we've got a Machamp lead. And with Machamp, I'm pretty happy running into Machamp in the lead with Gyarados, just because the Rock Slide's going to do massive damage to Charizard and to Gyarados. It'll hit Muk for decent damage, but with Gyarados you can do good damage, chip away with the Dragon Breath. They swap out to a Lapras, and we're a little unsure what to do against a Lapras, but it's also a Frost Breath Lapras. If you're running Lapras in Ultra League, you want to run Ice Shard. It is a better move than Frost Breath in just about every way. I think Frost Breath is slightly more damage, but the energy gain on Ice Shard is so much higher. So we're going to take this Surf. I don't think it'll quite knock us out. We're able to get to one more Crunch. This will get the Lapras pretty low, or get a shield. And then I think we're just going to bring in the Muk. We probably should have brought the Muk in straight away anyway. But no, we're going to bring in Charizard. I am second guessing myself all over the place here. We know we can take this Surf. It'll do decent damage, yeah. Hits us pretty hard. But we're confident we can farm down and have a charge move to threaten the Machamp if it comes back in. And we're just hoping Muk can handle the last Pokemon in back. Machamp comes in. We're going to build up some energy before we throw this Dragon Claw. Not super sure why, but I think we hoped we could farm down, but realised we couldn't. And again, Venusaur in the back. Now we build up to Blast Burn before we throw, but we figure we'll throw the Dragon Claw. Doesn't really matter either way, we're not going to get more than one charge move off. Swap straight into Muk, and can we take this Venusaur out? It's got a lot of energy, hits us with the Frenzy Plant, does a good chunk. Now Muk can comfortably survive 2 Frenzy Plants, and I think the third one will just KO. And this is again a PvP spread Muk, so it's about as bulky as a Muk that you're going to see in the Ultra League is going to be. We figure we're going to go straight for Sludge Waves. We think if we can land a Sludge Wave, yeah, we do. So if we'd have landed a Dark Pulse, we would have had to have landed one more charge move to KO. But we figured we had the energy, we had the shield, so we could probably make it to 2 Sludge Waves and force that damage out to make sure we took that win. GG! Stepping into the ring now is Yossi 4416, and they're bringing a Jellicent lead. Now, Jellicent, it's running Bubble, which is very good for us, because it means that Gyarados is resisting it, so whereas Hex, the damage adds up a little more. And because it's a Bubble Jellicent, we're happy to see it here and not against Charizard. If it's a Hex Jellicent, then Charizard kind of does just as well against it. But we're happy to see this one against Gyarados. And we figure, I think we're going to let this go. Yeah, well, it's just a Bubble Beam. So now we're going to throw the Aqua Tail because this Jellicent's super low, but we want to throw before they throw another charge move. And we're going to take Switch here in the 0 shields, which is really nice for us. We're going to store the energy we've got and swap straight out into Muk. and they've got an Alolan Ninetales, specifically a Powder Snow Alolan Ninetales. And maybe we should have swapped out blindly to Charizard rather than Muk, but obviously hindsight is 2020 in these situations. But if we can land a Blast Burn with Charizard against the Ninetales, we're looking good. But the Dragon Breaths are going to be resisted, and the Dragon Claw is resisted, so it has to be Blast Burn. So if we can't get the shields out of this Umbreon, we're not looking good. And obviously Alolan Ninetales is very spammy, especially with Powder Snow. So I'm going to swap to Gyarados, throw the Aqua Tail to get rid of this Umbreon. Ideally, doesn't quite KO, but it forces the Umbreon. No, we found them down. As I say, we're going to force them to throw their energy. But now we're gonna, I think we're gonna shield this and throw the Dark Pulse, hoping to get a shield out of him. God, we should have thrown that Dark Pulse straight away, because we almost certainly would have gotten a shield, but now I've had to give up 2 to get this 1 shield out of the Ninetales. And now it's a case of, I think we have to bait with Dragon Claw and then land a Blast Burn. Oh, okay, they go for the farm down, and we're able to get to another Dark Pulse. Will this pull the second shield? It does. So now, can Charizard survive? Probably has to survive 2 Weather Balls here to make it to the Blast Burn. First one lands, does less than half, so we're looking good. Second one's coming through, that was very fast. They might get to a 3rd Weather Ball before we can get to this Blast Burn. This is going to be super close. Now they got a 3rd one. Nothing we can do. They farmed up way too much energy against our Muk. So we're going to take an L there. GG's to my opponent. If we'd have blind swapped to Charizard, we'd have been looking a little bit better. But like we said, hindsight's 2020. And we were kind of hoping to bait out a Swampert with that swap. So now we've got an Alolan Ninetales lead, a Charm Alolan Ninetales lead. So we're going to swap into Alolan Muk, see what we can bait out, because Gyarados against Charm Alolan Ninetales is not a good position to be in. Both Muk and Charizard will do better in that matchup. So we might as well see what we can bait out with the Muk first, and then hopefully line Charizard up to the Ninetales if possible. Now we land the Sludge Wave, which does very good damage, and I actually would have been tempted to shield that, I think, just to get off that Dark Pulse and either get a shield or switch advantage, but farming down with Gyarados works too. So now we've got a fair amount of energy that we can either dump into this Ninetales. We're going to swap out straight away to Charizard, and they've got a Giratina in the back. And as we've said, everything on this team deals well with Giratina. So the main issue is the Ninetales. Charizard can win this matchup, but there's still 2 shields on both sides, and we do still really need to be landing a Blast Burn on that Ninetales. But we get the first shield out of the Giratina. This is good. This is what we need. We need this Giratina to shield twice, then we need to come out of this matchup with enough energy to make it to a Blast Burn. So building up extra energy, throw another Dragon Claw. Are they going to shield this? They don't. And now we have to shield to preserve the Charizard if we want to. We decide we're not going to bother. Bring in the Gyarados, farm down, and hope all this energy is enough. But it's really not going to be. Aqua Tail on Gyarados is great for accenting the Dragon Breath damage and pushing it up. But with Dragon Breath being double resisted, it's doing basically no damage. And Aqua Tails alone is not going to be enough to take this win for us. We'd need this Aqua Tail to hit for at least 50%. And then get to the second one, which, as you can see, it does barely a 1/3 of Ninetales' health. So this is a no-go. We can't win this match, and that's going to be a good game. As you can see, the XLs can still cause a lot of problems for this team, but it's Ultra League. If you don't have the XLs, you're going to struggle against the XLs in general. Right, last match, we've got a Gyarados mirror match. The opponent swaps out straight away. So I'm thinking possibly it's a Waterfall Gyarados, which if it is, Dragon Breath Gyarados dominates Waterfall Gyarados. They swap in a Registeel, and Charizard is a great punish to Registeel because it resists both Focus Blast and Flash Cannon. It can take 2 of either of those moves. We go straight for the Blast Burn and land it, so we can comfortably take this move and farm it down with Dragon Breath and have some energy to dump into whatever comes in. We're expecting the Gyarados, so we should throw straight away really. And yep, the Gyarados comes in, so we're going to throw a Dragon Claw straight away, do a nice chunk of damage, and it is a Dragon Breath Gyarados. So we're not sure why they swapped out straight away, especially to Registeel, which isn't the best answer to a to a Gyarados anyway. They must have been hoping to get Switch to lock this Melmetal against it, but now this means we can get Alolan Muk against Melmetal, and like we've said, the team as a whole doesn't really like Melmetal, we don't like to see it, but Muk is the best answer because you can comfortably survive 2 Rock Slides and the Dark Pulses do really good chunks of damage, and also the Snarls do chip away a little bit in the background, so we don't have to shield this. Yeah, we're going to let this go. They really can't Thundershock us down still at this range, but we're going to shield this now, yeah. So we don't like shielding until we have to, just so the Melmetal can't decide to go for a superpower and hit us that little bit harder. They swap out to Gyarados, we anticipate that and swap ourselves very quick. We're going to let this go because we know Gyarados isn't our win condition in this match. We know Alolan Muk is. Throw the Crunch, and thankfully we're very far away from farm down range. Like Thundershock's hitting for double super effective, but we're going to get a shield here with this Aqua Tail. So this Melmetal's going to struggle to farm us down, but it's going to have a go at it. And this is scary, but we've got a Dark Pulse on the Muk, we've got a shield. We shield the Rock Slide, the Dark Pulse is forced through, we KO the Melmetal, and we're going to be able to take this win. See, in a different situation, if we'd have shielded an earlier Rock Slide, the move they could have forced through if we didn't have a shield then, but more health could have been superpower, and that could have been the difference of knocking us out. So always good to hang on to those shields if you know you can take the moves that they're throwing earlier on in the matchup. So once again, a 3-2 with this team, so we're able to steadily climb back up through the 2700s, which again, if you can pull 3-2s in Ultra League without Legendaries and XLs at the 2700 range, I don't think you can complain too much at all at that. So let me know what you guys think of the team, let me know how you're getting on with Ultra League. Are you sticking to Open Ultra League or are you sticking to Ultra Remix? I guess it depends whether you're in the XL camp or not really. Or maybe you found something spicy that's throwing opponents off and pulling you some cheeky wins from the back pocket. So once again guys, don't forget to subscribe to support the ELO I sacrificed to find and bring you guys this team. And thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, you're an absolute legend, and I'll catch you guys next time.